Today on r/PettyRevenge. Serial abuser will hopefully be homeless soon. My senior year of high school, my younger brother unalived himself. This and other events caused me to spiral. Drugs 5 years. But nowadays it's going on 4 years since I've used hard drugs. Most of my 20s were dark and lonesome though. My family didn't want anything to do with me after a while because it hurt them to witness. There's been a lot of healing in that regard, and I'm finally on good terms with them again. After I got clean, about a year or so in, I took a try at online dating. I was quickly hit with a dose of reality. Women didn't find me attractive. I was still a little overweight. I had one date and the woman never spoke to me again. I even went online to look up some advice, too embarrassed to tell anyone about it in real life. That was when I learned even guys that are way more accomplished in life and have model looks, they also don't get nearly any attention online either. My confidence wasn't strong enough to handle repeated blows to my ego. So I knew I was better off deleting Bumble. Continue making strides in my sobriety. And most of all, lose a few pounds. And with some luck I was able to get a physically demanding, better paying, job to counteract my concerns about being sedentary. Picked up walking around the local park in my neighborhood. Then the unexpected thing happened and I started dating a coworker at my new job. That's when a friend of my GF alerted us to a post she came across. It had screenshots of my old Bumble profile. The pictures. The bio. Private info. My first, middle, last name. Full birthday. My cell phone number. My home address. And last but not least, the address and phone number to the job I used to have. With a caption that said something to the effect of me unmatching her on Bumble before she could get a chance to message me, but she took the time to screenshot my profile before even trying to reach out. And then further claimed she had learned from a friend of hers that knew me personally I am married, and my wife had to leave the state to be safe from me. The post was from almost 2 years ago. And again, it's not obvious. I have never married. And it really embarrassed me because I was so far from ever being husband material throughout my 20s, and I'm still working on myself to potentially be a great long-term partner to my girlfriend. And for this woman to claim that I was somehow already at that stage of life, that I had a marriage, was able to afford it, and then violently destroyed it. It was violating. My girlfriend's friend even shared with us screenshots of the comments that were under it. And that part was devastating. Because not one person asked her to prove any of it. Not one person asked her to consider the harm it could cause by putting all my address information online to strangers. Not one person called out the obvious, that she was retaliating over a perceived rejection. Also, I don't even remember her face. I'm 100% confident she never matched with me on Bumble. I got so few matches back then. But the comment section did agree on one thing. That men who look like me are secretly gay and that's why they beat women. I cried about this for days. I couldn't fathom that this group on Facebook was all women my age and older and behaving like the same kind of attitudes of middle school children who taunted my younger brother so much that he unalived himself. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about my little brother. But never has it been because I was on the receiving end of what my brother went through. And it made me so fired up. I just kept thinking to myself, they got away with bullying my brother. And I can't let them keep getting away with it. So my girlfriend and I agreed we'd do something. My girlfriend had already been using a fake Facebook account to follow this woman's Facebook account. And sadly, like most people, this woman is addicted to social media. She posts a new picture of herself every day. Oftentimes the same picture with different filters. Which is a level of depressing I can't describe. But it made me feel sorry for her in a way. She literally posts everything, including a list of several other people she has done this to. That part really highlighted the urgency to act in both me and my girlfriend. Because it wasn't just a one and done for her. I was not the first. She has doxed at least 5 people and one is a woman. The reason she went after a woman is because apparently she is in an open relationship with one of the guys that rejected her. There's varying different levels of encounters she has had with some she's met, but it's hard to believe if any of what she put was true because she completely made stuff up about me. Now I'm assuming she must use some crowdsourcing from other members, but as far as the private phone number and address and full names, I think she uses one of those Spokeo type websites. I have an arrest on my record for trespassing and drug paraphernalia. If she was intent on sharing accurate information to others, I question why she couldn't just bring up that factual arrest record. My girlfriend and I didn't need any more speculation. It was clear this is an ill and predatory lizard parading around as a feminist vigilante. It was only by sheer luck that I moved jobs around the time of this posting. Plus, combined with my girlfriend and I aren't on any social media, we only have the fake Facebook account we used for this occasion. Because if we were, the lizards would have been harassing us directly. So my girlfriend and I used her Facebook activity against her. First of all, she posted where she works. a daycare ran by a church. She always posts when she's at home when she's going to work. So we went up to the daycare when she was at home. We printed out screenshots of all the men and women she is non-consensually sharing photos and address of. We included the posts where she is egging other women to review bomb the places they work. We spoke with the director of the daycare. And we were surprisingly well received. And we all were able to figure out that much of her time at work is spent on Facebook, and that includes when she's doxing people. 2 weeks ago I got an email from the director. He explained that they fired her on grounds of harassment in the workplace. We still use our fake Facebook account to monitor her. She's just created a GoFundMe to help pay her rent. But my girlfriend and I are going to see to it that is shut down for harassment and fraud. She's done this to so many people, I have no doubt she will ever figure out which one of us finally came after her. For our next story. Cheat on me? Well, good luck having your mistress take care of your lazy behind. This is not my story. This is my aunt's story. I am in her house because there is a family reunion. My aunt, let's call her Sarah. And her ex-husband, Richard. This happened almost 10 years ago. My Aunt Sarah discovered her husband was cheating on her with a 25-year-old. He was 49 and my aunt was 42. They had 2 kids. Now a little backstory, my aunt was a stay-at-home mom. She was very health conscious. In our culture, people tend to overfeed you. But she was against it because people in our family have heart condition and diabetes. Richard was someone who liked to eat and lead a lazy life. My aunt always pushed him to do some exercise. The reason is none of the men in his family lived past 55. She wanted him to stay alive for the kids. She always cared for his health, did all his chores, and was a good wife overall. But it wasn't enough for Richard. He went on and cheated on her and blamed her. Because when he's with the mistress, he feels alive. The mistress doesn't force him to eat healthy or exercise. The mistress doesn't nag him all the time. My aunt was devastated. Her husband left her and soon she is going to be a single mom. So instead of wallowing in pain, she packed his stuff up and went to the mistress's house. She left those bags and had a long list. The list contained the number of medication he needs, what he needs to eat, his schedules, where he shops, what he likes to eat, etc. It's basically a manual of how to keep her deadbeat husband functioning. The way my aunt described the mistress's expression is priceless. It is like as if there was an explosion in front of her. Few days after she left, she would get constant calls from the mistress about her husband. She would complain he doesn't like the food she makes because it is not like hers. Even her ex-husband had the audacity to call her when his girlfriend wasn't home so that she can come and cook. She would always hang up. They both calls multiple times. My aunt turned them away each time. She got backlash for not caring, but she was stubborn in her decisions. Over the time, her kids also stopped visiting their dad because their dad knows nothing about the kids. It's been 10 years she is divorced. She works as a teacher in a school. Her kids are all established and takes care of their mother. They barely talk to their dad. Aunt never got married. I think she doesn't want to either. On the other hand, Richard and his mistress are miserable. The last time I saw them, Richard looked fat. Like really fat. He had a heat attack last year. The mistress looks like she aged 20 years. She looks miserable. And whenever she looked at Richard, it seems like she wanted to kill him. I guess my aunt was the only one keeping him alive. But I'll give him credit for making past 55. Our last story for today. I've never told anyone this story. He told me I couldn't use women's body wash. I've been using it for 20 years now. This probably stretches the limits of petty and revenge, but I'm going to post it anyway. I've never told a single person this story because it's so stupidly petty. Around 20 years ago when I was in college, my girlfriend then, she's now my wife, and I had plans to go to a nice dinner in our parents' hometown. I had another commitment during the day that was going to leave me sweaty and dirty. I don't remember what it was, but I remember really needing a shower before going to dinner. So the plan was that I would finish up during the day, meet her at her parents' house where I would quickly shower, and then we'd leave for dinner. After I got done, I went to their house. My girlfriend and her parents were asking me about how things went. All I remember is feeling so insanely dirty that I didn't want to stand there talking to them because I was sure that they could smell me from several feet away. I continued to inch my way up the stairs where I knew I would be showering. When I felt like I could safely leave the conversation without being rude, I asked my girlfriend, "You have soap or shampoo, etc. up there that I can use to shower?" She said, "Yep." This is when her dad, my now father-in-law, literally jumped up out of his seat saying, No, let me find you some men's soap. You don't want to use her soap." I quickly tried to stop him as I really didn't care. I just wanted to shower. He insisted. So I stood there halfway up the stairs for a few minutes, desperately wanting to go up and shower while he rooted around in his bathroom trying to find some manly soap. He eventually found something, handed it over, and I went upstairs. Being annoyed at his overall insistence that I couldn't possibly use soap that wasn't intended for men, and having to wait longer to take the shower, I decided I was going to be petty and use my girlfriend's soap anyway. Take that! But the actual petty revenge continues to this day. Her parents still live in that same house and we still live in a different city. So every time we go back to visit we stay at their house. We still use that same bathroom when we go back. And that bathroom is always stocked with both manly and girly body washes. Guess who uses the girly body wash every time I'm there? Even though I prefer the scents of the manly stuff. Even though not a single soul knows about how I was wronged, or the revenge that I've been exacting for 20 years now. And those are all the stories we have for today. See you tomorrow.